It's wonderful. I've seen the pictures that T.J. Scott and Denise took of the cast, the crew, the scenery in New Mexico. The book is phenomenal. These guys are amazing artists. Everything they do in this gallery is astounding. So it's a really good night for us to get recognized by them.
Looking back, what is the power and the strength of this show that lasted this long?
Well, I think it's a show about real human beings, and it examines an aspect of our culture that's largely overlooked. What's going on in that intersection between a reservation where Native American people live, in this case the Cheyenne, and where the dominant culture is holding sway right against that line. You know, the interplay of what it means for those two cultures to be in proximity, and it's especially profound given that the hero of Longmire, Walt, the sheriff, is a man who is himself really conversant with and respectful of Native American spirituality. So I think that has a lot to do with why the show is so deeply well loved by the people who have found it. The relationship between those two characters, Walt and Henry Standing Bear, his best friend, played by Robert Taylor and Lou Diamond Phillips, they're best friends. You actually get to examine the nature of male friendship on a really profound level, especially as regards people that are coming from completely different cultures. Right? There are 4 or 5 Native American characters in the series. Each of them is a distinct human being. They're not particularly noble. They're not particularly corrupt. They're just people trying to get by, just like the white characters. I think people respond to that, as well they should. And I think it's been one of the great experiences of all of our lives to have been a part of it. The guy who wrote these books, Craig Johnson, is a genius, and not only a genius, but a genius who is not cynical. And the work reflects the fact that this great, great writer is writing from his heart and not trying to show human beings in a bad light for the sake of some kind of thrill.
Are you bummed out that the show is coming to an end, or do you think the timing is right for it to end? And what do you miss the most about it?
I think I was bummed out when I heard the series was going to end, but now, upon reflection, having shot the last season, which was written so beautifully by Hunt Baldwin and John Coveney, Greer shepherding them. The writing has been fabulous, so you get the sense that the show gets to go out with its head held high. And beyond that, they left enough questions unanswered that it's quite likely there's more story to be told. I have a lot of faith that we have not seen the end of it.
Oh man, I love the show, and I actually worked on it.
Oh, okay, cool.
I got to do an episode. I did an episode that TJ directed.
Yeah. And so what's the strength or the power of the show?
I think it's the best cop show on television. And for me, it's they let everything breathe. It's not the fast pace. It's an incredible show to watch.
So that's the difference between Cold Case and that?
Yeah, I really can't compare the two. Like, ours was a procedural whodunit, and ours was a sort of an episode by episode. There wasn't as a through line as Longmire. Longmire, you watch a season and you go, oh my God, I lived through this. Whereas Cold Case was one episode at a time, pretty much.
Now, what do you think the show speaks about today's relationship between the natives and the locals?
It's as complicated as it's ever been, and it's as complicated as it's always going to be. I think it's human nature, man. We've been doing this since we began, since we were cavemen, I think. So it's just interesting because we all, at the end of the day, I think we all want the same thing, just to go home and be surrounded by our loved ones. But it's during the day that everybody's, doing their business, and who knows? Yeah, that's.
I hear you. Last question. What are you going to miss the most about the show now that it's coming to an end?
What am I going to miss the most? I would say that, like, each episode, if you watch it weekly, it's like having a great night with an old friend. So we'll be able to go back and watch it again. But the fact that it's kind of over and not moving forward, your friend's not going to be stopping by as much as he once was. So, yeah, I got to miss it.
Thank you so much, sir. Enjoy your night.